When it comes to defining a community, it's so many things that comes into play to narrow down a community. But if I was to narrow it down, it would be by a race of people that sticks together.
It's a safe place where everyone is welcome and no one is judged. That's what a community means to me.
In the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. King, I believe that he defined a community by unity. One of the biggest things that he stressed is that he had a vision that one day that all of us would come together.
Live as a whole community as if we were one, not by race, not by ethnicity. No matter, he just wanted peace, love, and sanctuary for everyone.
When he said, I had a dream, he had better hopes, for the community that was under oppression, for the community that did not have equal rights, for the community that was taken advantage of, and for the community that did not express their opinions.
Through his I Have a Dream speech, he conveyed a hope in a time where we can all come together and be able to be in one space. And, he was a Baptist preacher, so I would say as he felt God had intended for it to be for us. And so that dream that he had, I think, was centered in a theological understanding of what God had intended for humanity at the point of creation. And that had nothing to do with us being separate, right? And apart from one another. It had everything to do with us being a part of that community that he defined as the beloved community.
And I Have a Dream set the mandate, it set the edict, it set the direction, and it set the vision for us all. And I'm so encouraged by what I see from younger audiences, more diverse audiences and demographics, people, individuals I'm speaking about specifically, who are leading, who are doing more than dreaming, who are taking action and standing strong and continuing the fight. The expression "a luta continua," right? The struggle continues.
When it comes to DEI, I feel that Dr. King would still say that we got a lot of progress. I feel that how the current system is, there's a lot of progress, and the goal ultimately is to make equality happen. However, I think that the way that Dr. King said he wanted it done, the way that we are being taught in the books, and the way that we learn each and every day is different. So one of the biggest things that I feel that DEI needs to get to is one unilateral system across all companies, across all organizations, and across the United States, so that once again we can continue to carry out Dr. King's legacy about unity. That's the one biggest thing I think that we should do.
Each of us, it's such a different time, right? Then we were really focused on leaders who lifted up the beloved community and did the work. Today, we all have to do the work. So in that context, I would say we are all leaders. I would love to see each individual lead on the principles and the messages and the directive that Martin Luther King Jr. gave in his beautiful speech.
How we are aligned with King's work is his concept of the interconnectedness of humanity, right? One of my favorite quotes, and I've quoted it a number of times, of Dr. King actually came from his letter from a Birmingham jail, when he talked about injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. But in that letter, he said, we are tied in a single garment of destiny, caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, right? And so whatever affects one indirectly affects all directly, right? And so then he goes on to say, for some reason, I can never be who I ought to be until you are who you ought to be, and you can never be who you ought to be until I am who I ought to be. And that's really what the oughtness that he talks about is what our work at Covenant House is centered in, right? Because there should not be youth homelessness. There should not be food insecurity. And so that ought not be the way that it is. And so our work is centered in that hope that suggests that one day this is going to turn around. And when we are who we are, like when one person gets what they need, that gets us all closer to being who we ought to be together.